Hello, friends. I'm Megan Baxter, social media strategist, digital marketing specialist, and I am here today. We are talking about posting with a purpose. This is something that I never really always understand why, but I do know that it commonly seems to trip people up. I think that I have an idea on where our mindset goes sideways with our content, and I want to kind of talk through that. And if it's something that you've been doing, I have I have a little change the way you're looking at it that's going to yield you some pretty decent results from the improvement in action that you get from the content that you're using in the social media for your business. So the topic at hand here, as I'm sure you saw on the thumbnail, is post with purpose. Post for purpose. This is essentially when you hear people talking about you have to be intentional with your content. And that's exactly the same thing, different set of words. Each piece of content that you create, no matter what that piece of content is, especially for your business, but it should be in all of your pages, it needs to have a job, a specified job. Now, the job of your content is going to vary piece to piece, and you need to have this whole matrix of different types of content to have the most success that you possibly can in a social media platform. But you can't jumble them all together. And I think, like I said at the start of this, I think that we actually get to this jumbled, chaotic mess that I see quite often in the feed on different platforms because we are kind of hard grained, work smarter, not harder. And although I'm a huge, huge fan of work smarter, not harder, not every area of our business can multitask. And although as an entrepreneur, you have to be like the king or queen of multitasking, your content can't multitask. So we carry over the entrepreneur mindset of I got to get the most bang for my buck. I got to do the most amount in the smallest space or time because I'm busy. I'm a small business owner. I'm scrambling. I'm frazzled. Whatever the case may be. If you're not scrambling and frazzled, that's amazing because that doesn't help you anyways. But a lot of people, especially when they're new, they feel very scrambled. And as they start to pick up on social media, they feel very almost overwhelmed. I have so many things I need that this social media presence to do for my business. I have so many things that I need to achieve out of this content. We just kind of start slapping it all together. And that really doesn't serve you, and it definitely doesn't serve your audience. It actually, most times, I would say 98% of the time, because a fluke happens where things just work out really well and we got lucky. But about 98% of the time, what it actually does is it almost repels them because you overwhelmed them. You're overwhelmed to get so many things accomplished with this one piece of content, actually overwhelmed them, and they almost like freeze, and they don't really know clearly what you want them to do, so they do nothing. They might like it, they might give you a little heart, but it can really hinder your engagement, which in turn hinders your visibility, which in turn, all of those combined hinder your conversion rates. If you can't get people talking to you on your content, then you likely can't get them talking to you to build and nurture connections with them. And if you can't nurture connections with them, you're going to have a very challenging time getting them to trust you enough to hand over their hard earned dollars. And at the end of the day, even though money's not everything, it is why we're in business. We're in business to make money. If you're in business, you need to be making money. And if your business is not making money, right now you have an expensive hobby, not a business. So let's fix that, right? Now, just improving the purposeful content is not going to make you a millionaire overnight. I always like to be very transparent. There are coaches out there, they tell you they got the one thing that's going to make you super duper rich. It's not one thing that makes anybody super duper rich. That's not the way that it works, my friend. I wish it was. I wish I could come out here and tell you that there's this magical cheat code, but there isn't. What there is intentional behavior in your business operating systems, including your social media for your business. And if you get better at the skills involved in things like marketing through social media for your business, you are going to become more successful. That's just the way that it works, right? So now let's get back to this purpose of your content, right? Posting with a purpose or being intentional with your content. Each piece of content that you have can have one job. That means when you are creating a piece of content or thinking about a piece of content or deciding what you're going to post next, you need to first decide what is the point. Yeah, that's simple. What is the purpose that you are trying to achieve with the piece of content once you've created it, scripted it, made the graphic for it or the video and put it out into the world? What are you hoping that piece of content's going to do for you? Because it can only do one thing. Each one piece of content can do one job. It's very limited in that sense, right? So you have to decide, am I making this piece of content for higher engagement because I need to lift my engagement up so I get seen more? Are you making this piece of content because you're looking to generate more leads because you're in the process of scaling your business and you got to be selling to people? Are you making this piece of content because you want to grow your email list? Are you making this piece of content because you're trying to find out what your audience wants from you? Are you making this piece of content because you're trying to make them laugh? Is the point of this piece of content to inspire your audience? Is the point of this piece of content to build a better connection to your audience and you're telling your brand story? It doesn't particularly matter what you choose for any particular piece of content. There's all kinds of content, and you got to use a lot of different kinds if you're going to be successful. If your sole traffic source in your business is social media, you got to start taking your social media pretty seriously because without traffic, your business is going to suffocate. It's the bloodline of it. If you don't have traffic, who are you going to sell to? If you don't have traffic, who's going to see all of this hard work you're putting into your content? You need traffic, which means you need followers, and you're going to get a better result out of those followers if your content isn't overwhelming them, right? So one job. If the piece of content is to boost engagement, then you should probably be asking them a question. Give them something they can respond to so that you get the comments. If the purpose is to sell, then you likely should be telling them why they need and why they'll love what it is that you have and how to go buy it. If the purpose is you just want to inspire them for a quick moment, then that should be the only purpose. Don't use an inspirational quote and try to make a sale at the bottom end of it. Now your audience is like, ew, that's cringy. Wait a minute. I thought she was just saying something nice. Now she's asking me for money. It leaves a bad taste, right? So if you've been making this mistake or you haven't put any thought into it at all, or you just no one ever brought it to your attention, that's completely okay. Because as you've heard me say before, you're not at fault for not knowing what you don't know. But once you know better, you got to do better. Yes, I say that a lot. So now that you know better, get out there and your content forward, give each piece of content a job and watch the difference that's going to make after a small amount of time inside your audience. If you found this helpful, make sure that you subscribe so that you can see more of this series, like it, as well as leave a comment. Let me know what was helpful for you. I'll see you in the next one, friend.